Greetings, welcome to Self-Assessment 4, question 7. So in this question they say explain the meaning of the slope of s of t. Be sure to include appropriate units. Well, in a minute here we're going to actually take a look at the scatter plot again of this particular data, but let's keep our head wrapped around it. Let's make a quick hacked out set of axes that we would do our scatter plot on. Notice on this axis that's going to be time, and that's in years since 1980. Whereas the units that I'm going to place on my axes are going to be the same units that were in the table where they delivered the data to us. Okay, so that's going to be, let's make ourselves a nice big set of parentheses here, the units on the horizontal axis, that's our t, and then our s units here, that's going to be in dollars in millions. Okay, now why does that sometimes make it easier for me to see? Because, well, I know that the fundamental definition of slope is that it's equal to the change in y over the change in x. In other words, it's my rise over my run, if you want to think about it that way. Well, my delta y here is now being played starring role as delta s, and my delta x is being played by delta t, all right? So what are the units on the S? Well, that's in millions of dollars. And what is delta T doing? Well, that's years, right? And we'll just keep in mind that we also know that that means since 1980, okay? But as far as the slope is concerned, years is going to work out just fine. All right, so that helps us understand what is meant by 0.0389 by attaching the units to it. The numerator is the number we just wrote down. Our denominator is going to be 1. Remember, we can turn any number into a rational by simply putting a 1 underneath it, okay? Provided the number was not irrational to begin with, but that's a whole different topic. So we've got up in the numerator millions of dollars, and in the denominator we've got years. So what that tells me is we make $0.0389 million for every year that goes past. That's millions of dollars actually in sales. Probably ought to make sure I put that on my axis here. Important there, not necessarily critical over here in the slope, but let's put it in just to make it make more sense, okay? So that means we've got an increase of $0.038 million for every year that goes by. So let's go ahead and write that out as a sentence, and we've included the appropriate units. That's what they meant when I formed that ratio. I've included the appropriate units. So we increase our total sales, we'll just say sales, by $0.0389 million every year. Or you could say per year. Okay, well, hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of the one of the most important things when you're doing regression analysis is making sure you understand what this number right here, the slope, represents in practicality. So we'll see you back here for the last question for the self-assessment. We have self-assessment question 8 coming next.